for those of us as financial advisors, when we're looking at kind of the world now, I think there's some people that think that technology isn't going to supplant advisors. I'm in that camp, but I have a unique maybe perspective on it. Then there's some of them, then there's maybe another camp that's really feeling like, oh my goodness, like the speed with which apps are being built, the accuracy, the ease of use, the ability to scale, right? It's going to pose a challenge to traditional financial advisors and firms, especially in a world where we read about something like, a neural network or machine learning or artificial intelligence, which I know those are buzzwords. So let's start with one, because you already mentioned it, which is machine learning, right? Instead of having, a staff of hundreds and thousands of people looking at a report, typing it into a database to then turn it into an electronic record that can be used for analytics, you guys started by building right from the beginning tools to use machine learning and neural networks, correct? So describe for those of us, knuckle draggers that aren't software engineers and don't have a background in this, just how do you frame to the financial advisor like me, like the importance of having, machine learning or a neural network or, this kind of technology as the base or the foundation of your company?
Right. So I would say, first and foremost, the way I think about this is that there's a big difference between intelligence and advice, right? Like, you can provide information to somebody in a very efficient way, which is exactly what we're just an information provider. We are not in the business of advice. We're innovating so that we can get better intelligence into the hands of the people who then have to put a human brain behind actually giving a human being advice, right? And so I think there's a big difference there. And I think we've seen kind of, especially through the robo-advisory lens, automating the advice piece is just meh, right? I mean, it's,
it's a dime a dozen now.
Yeah, and it's not that powerful, right? And so I agree with you. I don't think that there's going to be a complete disintermediation of the advice industry. I think that there's a lot of innovation happening kind of on our end in the back data side to get tools, data, and intelligence into the hands of those people. The caveat with that, I would say, is when you think about a company like RenTech, right? They're automating advice, right? The really big, systematic, quantitatively oriented hedge funds, that's a totally different category. They're doing something crazy, but that you're talking about the top 2% of firms in the world, right? The other 98%, they're not gonna have what RenTech has going on underneath the hood. That is completely a whole different ballgame of wildly sophisticated, automated investment strategies. And so stepping away from that, you're going to need a human behind it. And I'll give you a good example. We're working on a product right now that essentially is a natural language processing engine that reads the entire SEC, all of it. So you think about from a research or advice perspective, how many people spend time poring over a 10K or a 10Q or going and looking at a press release or a 13F. And with our new system, you can query our API and ask any question in the world. How is Apple handling the COVID pandemic? Are there any risks in Tesla's supply chain? Has IBM made any acquisitions recently? What kinds of sustainability challenges is Chevron facing? If an analyst wanted to ask what kinds of sustainability challenges is Chevron facing,
they start reading and downloading reports and
hours
on investor calls and
right.
Yeah,
it takes hours. And so this automates getting that intelligence quickly into the hands of that person. But then what do you do with that? Right? So you've got a list of ESG factors, or you've clustered companies based on their beliefs, or you're pulling in all this semantic intelligence. We're really good at using AI to answer those questions and get that insight out there, but we're not telling you what to do with it. Yeah. That's not our expertise.